And where is it right now? Because you're going to go, when is it going to be released?
It premieres Tuesday in New York.
And you're working on it last...
In Hollywood, just a single word can turn a performance from ordinary to extraordinary.
It's going to hurt me.
I'm not going to hurt you at all. There's no hurting here, Danielle.
Few understand this better than Martin Scorsese, a filmmaker whose relentless pursuit of cinematic perfection has shaped American cinema for more than 5 decades. From the gritty streets of Taxi Driver to the dazzling excess of The Wolf of Wall Street, Scorsese has always crafted stories that strip down to the core of human nature, exposing both our deepest desires and our darkest shadows.
A lot of the stories I was putting in my movies had elements of truth in them. A lot of people down there were still alive.
Yet behind the brilliance of a visionary director lies a fiery temperament, not unlike the very characters that inhabit his works. Scorsese's name is inseparable from legendary collaborations with Robert De Niro and Leonardo DiCaprio. But not every actor has found a place within his creative circle. Some have even fallen victim to the unforgiving standards and rigid demands he sets. Even acclaimed artists elsewhere, once they step into Scorsese's world, must face the challenge of complete transformation to align with his lens. These clashes are not merely professional disagreements, but profound collisions of artistic philosophy. As Scorsese himself once stated, cinema is a matter of what's in the frame and what's out. For these 6 actors, Scorsese's approval remained forever out of reach, an elusive recognition that could have redefined their careers. Among them was James Caan, whose raw intensity seemed tailor-made for Scorsese's world of volatile masculinity. In the mid-1970s, their paths nearly converged on an abandoned project. Caan, fresh from his triumph as Sonny Corleone in The Godfather, entered pre-production talks for Italian American, a character-driven drama set in New York's Little Italy. At first, Scorsese was captivated by Caan's dangerous authenticity. But admiration soon gave way to conflict. There was something dangerous about Jimmy, Scorsese later admitted. He had the truth I wanted, but his ideas clashed with mine. The breaking point came during a heated rehearsal, when Caan improvised new dialogue on the spot. Crew members recalled Scorsese's eruption as nothing short of volcanic. Improvisation was fine, Caan later told The New Yorker. But only if it was his kind. Otherwise, forget it. Within weeks, the project imploded. Officially, Scorsese cited creative differences. Privately, he branded Caan impossible. Both men went on to great careers, but their relationship never recovered. Their fleeting collaboration remains a striking what-if in cinema history. Next came Mark Wahlberg. His clash with Scorsese during the making of The Departed stands as one of modern film's most intriguing creative rifts. Cast as the explosive Staff Sergeant Dignam, Wahlberg injected the role with his trademark Boston grit. Yet Scorsese soon grew frustrated with the actor's choices. Mark had the athleticism, the street credibility I wanted, he later explained, but he fought me on the character's inner life. On set, tensions flared during Dignam's profanity-laced office scenes. Crew members recalled Scorsese halting take after take, pushing for restraint that Wahlberg seemed unable or unwilling to provide. He kept saying less, when everything about this guy screamed more, one production assistant told Vanity Fair. The irony was sharp. Wahlberg went on to earn the film's only acting Oscar nomination, a recognition that caught Scorsese himself off guard. Though cordial in public, the divide behind the scenes was undeniable. When casting Shutter Island and The Wolf of Wall Street, Scorsese made sure Wahlberg's name never entered the conversation. As he later told a film student at NYU, sometimes an actor gives you exactly what audiences want, rather than what the character needs. Julia Roberts. Her brief encounter with Scorsese's cinematic universe during pre-production on The Age of Innocence exposed a deep creative mismatch between America's sweetheart and America's most exacting director. Initially eyed for the role of Countess Ellen Olenska, later given to Michelle Pfeiffer, Roberts struggled to align with Scorsese's obsessive historical detail. She had this luminous quality that could have been perfect, Scorsese admitted years later. But there was a modern sensibility I couldn't strip away. The breaking point came at a costume fitting, when Roberts questioned the suffocating corsetry and Scorsese's insistence that physical discomfort was essential to the role. "He wanted me to literally not breathe properly to feel the character," Roberts later hinted in a Hollywood Reporter roundtable, without naming him. "Method directing, I guess." A tense exchange over the character's cultural background sealed her decision to walk away. In industry circles, the clash became legendary, Scorsese's uncompromising vision colliding with Roberts' instinctive approach. "In period films," he told the New York Times, "I need actors who vanish into another time, not ones who drag that time into our own." Ryan O'Neal. Known for his charm in Barry Lyndon and Paper Moon, O'Neal's disastrous audition for Raging Bull remains infamous among the handful who witnessed it in Scorsese's New York office in 1978. Before Robert De Niro secured the role of Jake LaMotta, O'Neal was briefly considered, only to deliver a reading so jarring that it shocked everyone in the room. It was, by Scorsese's own admission, the most uncomfortable hour I've ever spent in casting. He later confided this to longtime editor Thelma Schoonmaker, who shared the story during a Film Heritage retrospective. To Scorsese, O'Neal seemed to approach the script like it was foreign territory. The meeting unraveled completely when the actor suggested softening Jake LaMotta's scenes of domestic violence, hoping to make the character more sympathetic. To Scorsese, it was a fatal misunderstanding of his vision. "If you're worried about likability, you're in the wrong room," he allegedly snapped before cutting the session short. O'Neal never confirmed the exchange directly, though his memoir alluded to it. "Some directors want raw ugliness. I've always believed audiences need a way in, a reason to care." The clash became a defining example of the gulf between Hollywood's conventional leading men and Scorsese's unflinching character studies. As he later told American Film, "There's a difference between movie stars and what I need. I need actors willing to be despised." Winona Ryder. Her confrontation with Scorsese's rigorous methods during 1993's The Age of Innocence remains one of the director's most quietly guarded yet revealing battles. Cast as Mae Welland, the outwardly innocent bride whose quiet resolve anchors the story, Ryder soon found herself torn between Scorsese's meticulous vision and her own instincts for the role. Winona had this luminous quality that played beautifully on camera, Scorsese reflected years later. But there was also a resistance beneath the surface. "But she resisted me on Mae's inner calculations, her awareness of what she was doing to Newland and the Countess," Scorsese later admitted. The conflict came to a head during the pivotal engagement scene at the van der Luden's mansion, where production reportedly stalled for nearly 6 hours as Scorsese pushed Ryder to deliver a precise blend of innocence and manipulation she struggled to capture. A production designer, Dante Ferretti, recalled, "Marty would whisper to her for 20-30 minutes between takes. She'd come back with red eyes, only to face the same demands once the camera rolled." Crew members noted the growing strain, especially during the film's third act, when Mae reveals her pregnancy. "He wanted this razor-sharp balance," script supervisor Martha Pinson later told Sight and Sound. "A perfect mask of Victorian propriety hiding ruthless emotional warfare." Winona wanted Mae's humanity, her vulnerability. Marty saw that as weakening her power. Although Ryder's performance earned her an Oscar nomination, the tension lingered. She was largely absent from the film's commentary tracks and promotional events. And when asked years later about working with her again, Scorsese's answer was unusually curt. The door, it seemed, was closed. Winona is brilliant at certain qualities. But Mae Welland required something else entirely. In the aftermath of their creative clash, the consequences were clear. Despite Ryder's enduring stardom, she was never again considered for a Scorsese project. As he confided to longtime collaborator Sandy Powell, "Sometimes the process of reaching a great performance is so exhausting, you can't imagine repeating it, even if the result works on screen." Jim Carrey. His near miss with Scorsese's cinematic world stands as one of Hollywood's most intriguing cases of artistic incompatibility. A clash between freewheeling improvisation and meticulous control that collapsed before cameras ever rolled. In 1999, riding high on the acclaim of The Truman Show and Man on the Moon, Carrey was briefly attached to Scorsese's long-developing Howard Hughes biopic, the film that would eventually become The Aviator. And at that stage, the project was envisioned as a darker psychological portrait of Hughes's decline. For Scorsese, Cary's manic energy hinted at untapped dramatic potential. Jim had this electricity that could capture Hughes's brilliant eccentricity, he told Premiere magazine. But it needed to be channeled very specifically. The turning point came during an intensive workshop at Scorsese's New York office. Production designer Dante Ferretti, present to map Hughes's evolving environments, recalled Cary arriving with a flood of improvisational ideas, radical physical transformations, unplanned character shifts, an approach that clashed head-on with Scorsese's carefully calibrated vision. Martin grew increasingly silent as Cary demonstrated his transformations. The room's temperature seemed to drop with each minute, production designer Dante Ferretti later recalled. The real fracture came when talk turned to the script. Scorsese demanded absolute precision in dialogue, while Cary sought the freedom to discover moments through improvisation. There are two kinds of brilliance in acting, Scorsese reportedly told producer Barbara DeFina afterward. Jim's is undeniable, but it doesn't fit my process. Soon after, the project collapsed. Cary moved on to Bruce Almighty, while Scorsese reimagined the Hughes story with Leonardo DiCaprio at its center. Reflecting years later in a masterclass at NYU, Scorsese explained, "Some actors are such singular artists, they create within their own universe. My films require actors who can fully inhabit mine." The aborted collaboration remains a reminder of how fragile the chemistry between director and actor can be. Even extraordinary talent can falter when creative methods fundamentally diverge. As Cary himself admitted in 2015, sometimes the greatest gift is a door that stays closed. Few bonds in cinema are as consequential as those between directors and performers. Leonardo DiCaprio may be Scorsese's modern muse, but even their storied partnership has been marked by tension. On Killers of the Flower Moon, their 11th collaboration, DiCaprio's obsession with improvisation collided headlong with Scorsese's exacting precision. The actor often arrived on set armed with new dialogue, twisting scenes into unexpected shapes in search of emotional truth. For some directors, this freedom would be a gift. For Scorsese, it was a disruption. "Every now and then, Bob and I would look at each other and roll our eyes," Scorsese later confessed, revealing just how exasperating the process became. What might have been a minor irritation grew into a creative standoff. During key dramatic exchanges, Scorsese cut pages of DiCaprio's improvised dialogue, telling him bluntly, "You don't need that." To DiCaprio, it was censorship of instinct. To Scorsese, it was protection of rhythm, pace, and tone. The set became a quiet battlefield, one side chasing spontaneity, the other defending structure. Harvey Keitel was there from the beginning, the first face of Scorsese's cinema in Mean Streets. But even loyalty could not shield him from conflict. By the time of The King of Comedy, their relationship reached a breaking point. Keitel, known for his fiery intensity, clashed with Scorsese over the direction of his role. In the middle of production, he stormed off set, abandoning the project. The fallout was immediate. Rumors spread through industry circles that even Scorsese's oldest ally could not withstand his demands. Behind the scenes, Keitel harbored deeper frustrations. While Scorsese elevated De Niro to iconic status, Keitel often felt sidelined, his place in the director's pantheon slipping away. He would later admit to rifts between them, an understated word for what many saw as a fracture of trust. For Scorsese, Keitel was volatile, brilliant, but unpredictable. For Keitel, Scorsese was uncompromising to the point of alienation. Their partnership never fully recovered, standing as a reminder that even family can fall apart under the weight of artistic obsession. If Harvey Keitel was Scorsese's first muse, Robert De Niro was his eternal one. Together they created a gallery of unforgettable antiheroes, from Travis Bickle to Jake LaMotta. Yet even this legendary bond has not been immune to tension. During Killers of the Flower Moon, De Niro found himself caught in a strange triangle between Scorsese and DiCaprio. Where Scorsese prized restraint and precision, DiCaprio pushed for improvisation and excess. The clash of styles forced De Niro into the role of silent witness, and sometimes reluctant critic. Crew members recalled moments when De Niro would exchange weary glances with Scorsese as DiCaprio launched into another unscripted riff. The discomfort was palpable. For De Niro, who had spent decades channeling Scorsese's razor-sharp direction, DiCaprio's approach felt indulgent, even undisciplined. For Scorsese, it was a balancing act, honoring the instincts of his new muse without betraying the trust of his old one. The tension never boiled into open conflict, but it left its mark, proof that even among legends, creative chemistry can falter when methods diverge. In Scorsese's world, those bonds often turn into battlefields, where brilliance either transforms under his vision or shatters against it. And the 6 performers who collided with him, despite their acclaim, share the same fate: immense talent that never aligned with his uncompromising demands. Their struggles reveal the essence of Scorsese's philosophy, where technical precision must merge with emotional surrender. In an era where algorithms shape so much of what we watch, these clashes stand as reminders of what true artistic vision requires: not compromise, but conviction that borders on obsession. If you've enjoyed this journey through cinema's most revealing conflicts, don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into the untold stories of film. Leonardo DiCaprio.